Right, I was born a disabled person. One of my legs is shorter than the other, and I come from an unconventional background. My first name, Marg, or Margaret, is Norse, and my parents, whose families came from the Hebrides and Ireland, met as pacifists in 1939 and ran an organic smallholding throughout the Second World War. This gave me the experience of growing up in a caring and learned community with the emphasis on discovering the joy of learning and imparting it to others. So at the age of 19, in 1971, I decided not to go to university, but instead set up my own frontline grassroots charity. The charity is called Underdog because it helps and is run by disadvantaged people in society. It has run a succession of drop-in support centres, the first being in a rural area close to a seaside town. Then in the mid-70s I moved back to London, to Caledonian Road, because it was impossible getting funding for my work in rural areas. I will greatly assist the recession-hit economies of rural, seaside and inner-city areas by making available online a huge reference archive that I have built up over my lifetime and which has complemented the charity's work, and it is called the National Heritage Library.
Okay. Could you tell us about this?
Well, its website, which has just been launched, is www.nationalheritagelibrary.org.uk, and on there you'll see it's been endorsed by a wide range of conservation, cultural and disability bodies and Prince Charles. It's based on my lifetime survey by visiting and photographing a huge range of sites of interest throughout the UK and Ireland, the majority of them free to visit, which will greatly assist both families with young children and people on low income. A photograph saves 1,000 words, and I've got now well over 250,000 photographs. Due to its photographic nature, it's also of great benefit to visitors whose first language is not English. The website is fully inclusive, appealing to both able-bodied and disabled people, residents and foreign visitors. With mobile phones being able to access the internet, it will enable the user of the website, wherever they are, to see what places of interest are close to them and whether they are both suitable for their interests, and if they have got special needs, whether it will be suitable for them there as well, whether they are sensory, learning, muscular or mobility impairments. I decided to establish a national reputation for the archive and library by researching and writing the Field Guide to Wales, which is an abridged book version of the huge survey of Wales that I've done. And to enable me to do this, I had to rent a cottage in Wales during the 80s and 90s whilst I did my research there, whilst at the same time still having to operate and manage the charity's work here in London. Well, unfortunately, doing my work in Wales created major problems with my local council here in London. Although I'd openly told them that I needed to rent the cottage to do my research there while still also having to live at my council flat in London, they wrongly withdrew my housing benefit and gave me a notice to quit. In turn, I counterclaimed based on the extensive disrepair on the flat, but this started many years of stressful litigation, and this and the faulty central heating system in the flat brought on my contracting ME in 1992, and I've had that without remission to the present day. Well, ME stands for myalgic encephalomyelitis. It's a neurological disability, and the myalgic means pain in the muscles. And I've constant pain in all my joints and physical fatigue, a severe lack of energy and badly disturbed sleep patterns. In my case, although I contracted in 1992, it wasn't properly diagnosed until 1994. But in the 16 years from then, right up to 2010, my local Islington social services haven't provided both the suitable accommodation that I need and the care package that I need that my NHS consultants have long told them in a number of reports that I urgently need.
Sort of sleep and eat in the basement in the National Heritage Library?
Yes, I have to do that regularly because my council flat, which is about a mile away, is totally unsuitable. It's in a noisy location on a council estate. It's got an internal flight of 16 stairs within the flat, and trying to carry anything to and from there with my weak muscles is impossible. But conditions here are awful as well. Although the basement's soundproofed, it suffers very much from mould and damp, and it's doing my health in. Also, because of my ME, I don't have the energy to prepare and cook nutritious food. And whereas when I contracted it when I was at the age of 40, I was only moderately overweight, now I am in medical terms seriously overweight at obese level 3. And my consultants have told me that this is putting me at severe risk of diabetes and cancer and heart attack and stroke. And I take this very seriously, as both my parents died at an early age of cancer, and I know somebody of my own age in similar circumstances who recently had a stroke as well. Well, all of this has put me under prolonged adverse stress, which is the worst thing for anybody in my condition and is making my health doubly worse. Now, on the website I've explained that I've long needed a personal assistant to project manage digitizing and cataloging the whole archive and making it available on the internet. And under community care law, my social services could, if they wanted, provide the assistance to enable me to sustain my education and work, but they haven't offered any help at all. In March 2010, I and my charity suddenly received a bill for over £2,500 saying that it had withdrawn my charity's discretionary rate relief, which it has received on the building since the 1980s. And also in January of 2010, I had written to the leader of the Islington Council asking to meet with him to discuss how to improve relations with the council under the commitments for local government of the government's third sector compact, which exists to help local government and its local citizens to work better. But the leader has totally failed to respond. In the late 90s, I tried major Millennium applications to the UK and the Republic of Ireland governments to digitise the whole collection. But without having the great on the good on as an active support body, as a disabled person, it was very hard, and I didn't get anywhere with those. In 2003, I eventually got a very small Millennium Award of £5,000 through the Awards for All programme, which enabled me to do a detailed business plan and costing with the help of computer experts for the funding needed to make the whole thing available online.